Oh, breaking news.
In game real time, it's hard to make that bang bang call 100%.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Saturday Sliders. Can any team beat the Dodgers this year? Is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. extension possible? Stay with us and find out, including our weekly Giants and Blue Jays updates. I'm Almar, and I have Armando next to me, and let's talk baseball.
Well, Armand, let's get to it. Let's go into around the bases with this week's news.
Around the bases.
We'll start with opening day baseball already. The Tokyo series, the Dodgers versus the Cubs. Um, Armand, I'm not sure. First of all, it was a loaded event, star power. There was former athletes in the stands. There was um, a, a homecoming for the Japanese players. It was everything you wanted. It was pitching duo in the first game, and more offensively in the second game. There was a bug going on. People were sick, injuries happening. Omar, what stood out to you?
So Tokyo Series, great job MLB. Like we said last week, Armando, this was a great success. In Game One, we saw Yamamoto and Imanaga went toe to toe. Imanaga had four hitless innings against the Dodgers. Mind you, the Dodgers you were saying were without Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman on that game, but Imanaga was impressive. But we saw how deep this Dodgers team is in this series. They found a way to break out after Imanaga exited the game, and their bullpen secured the win. In Game Two, Armando, we have our first taste of Roki. Roki touched 100 miles per hour numerous times, but he was erratic out there, walking five batters and only lasting three innings. Armando, he has to cut down those walks because he will soon find out that these major league hitters
Yeah.
will make him pay if he doesn't cut those free passes. Again, Dodgers were too deep for the Cubs in this game, winning 6-3, sweeping this two-game Tokyo series. What's your take on this, Armando?
What checks out to me is that at first I was thinking, was this really a good um, baseball game, or did I really miss the game itself? Right? I was like, do I just miss baseball, or was this a really good game? And I think it was a little bit of both, to be honest with you. Uh, what stood out to me was that the Dodgers are the Dodgers. They're loaded. They didn't need Freeman. They didn't need Bookie Betts. I hope he's recovering well, but you can see how loaded they are. They're deep. They could have a seven-man pitching rotation if they feel like it, right? TK
Yeah.
Hernandez, he's a stud. It's puzzling that no one else signed him. He was the late sign-up for the Dodgers. He was available for anybody else, but he could literally be a cleanup hitter in other teams, right? And will be a star in other teams, but he's not. He's batting seventh, but he's probably one of the best underrated players that the Dodgers have. And it's yeah, they're just what stands out to me is that how loaded they are. They don't need all their stars to be playing at the same time. And the Cubs are still a professional club, right? So, um, but Roki, I agree with you. I think it was just more professional hitters seeing him for the first time. Also, he did in his first spring league, Cactus League game. He was a little while out there. Um, he was, but then he found his groove, and I think the same thing. Like I think batters are just gonna be th- because this is the first time they're seeing him, right? So I think they're gonna be patient and try to see. Okay, let's see because just the scouting report is that he has control issues. So can he throw strikes, right? So like if you're first time in the lineup, you're going to see if he has control, right? And then the second time, that's when he gets the longer the longer the game, he gets better, right? So I think I can see that already. If you wanna beat Roki, you need to in the first 3 innings you need to get to him or put some pressure on
Yeah.
him, right?
True. Yeah. You gotta be patient with him.
Yeah,
He's throwing 100 out there with a nasty splitter, right?
right.
So
Exactly. Also, it's the first time I think we're seeing this so many times with this overseas ball players. When their first game, they look a little rattled and everybody kind of freaks out, but then they'll settle ahead like normally they do, right? So I'm not gonna panic over the Dodgers.
no, I'm not saying they panic, but it's like you have to cut down those five
Exactly.
walks.
No, I
It's a
agree
lot
with
of
you,
walks.
right? So, but it was great. I thought it was. I agree with you. It was a success, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So, and I also like the catch in the outfield for the former USC athlete who took the ball away uh, from the third baseman, Dodgers third baseman.
No,
Anyways, it was
I didn't
very,
see
very
that
funny.
one.
He was so mad because he like the fan reached out to into the like and to grab the ball, and he had a chance to catch it, and he had a uh, he had a tantrum. So,
Oh.
but it was funny though. It was funny. So, but it was good. I loved it, and baseball's back. And so, all right, and in this other news, sad news for the Padres, Yu Darvish is will start the season in the IL due to elbow um, pain. What this is hard news, especially this late in spring training. What's your thoughts on this?
You Darvish being injured is not good for Padres to start. They need to get off to a good start in this
Yes.
NL West, Armando. You know that
Hmm.
firsthand. If they will fall behind the standings and with massive contracts in the lineup and an EP ownership, it will be interesting to see how this team manages without you for however that long. I wish you Darvish the best, and I wish that he can come back earlier than expected.
Yeah, he's gonna be gone for quite some time, right? To start I'm hearing like about 30 days, like to start the season. So that's I agree with you. This is not good for the Padres. They need to and any team in the National League West needs to start hot. They can't start slow, right? So they just can't afford it, right? If they want to keep up with the Dodgers, right? And we'll talk about it more in our predictions, but yeah, this is not good news, especially Hugh Darvish. He's a I don't think they have anybody else in the rotation that can eat up innings like Darvish. He's a horse, right? Like it's you can have your opinion on Darvish, like he's not living up to his potential, all the expectations, or he's a above subpar pitcher, but he goes 6 7 innings a game, right? So I don't think they can they don't have anybody to replace those kind of innings. So this is
And
not
yeah,
good.
and yeah, and yeah, maybe that's why the Padres didn't trade Dylan Cease, right?
Right.
Maybe they knew something was wrong with you, Darvish, because they were planning to trade Dylan Cease, right? And
Yep.
nothing happened, right? So
I was hearing
maybe
some
that's
rumors.
part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. So we'll see. And I agree with you. I was having the same thoughts. We'll see what the ownership does. Like if they decide to open their their pockets to content, or they just take a step back and they're just content with where they at, right? So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. So, but it's not good. So,
Yeah, gear up till 2050 when Shohei's contract's done, right?
right. Uh, well, that is it for around the bases. There's not a lot of news this week. Pretty slow. A lot of teams are making their final cuts and who's making the roster. So this is the last weekend without baseball. So next weekend we'll be covering live baseball now. So that's great. And so, but let's get into our National League predictions.
NL picks.
All Omar. Last week, anybody who missed our American League predictions, please go to last week's episode and catch those predictions. But for our National League, I'm gonna just start um, just getting because this is not a Dodger podcast, so let's just get it out of the way. The Dodgers are winning the National League. Shocker, right?
just
So
just straight to it,
yeah,
right?
let's just get to it. No, they're a really good team, like we said. They're loaded. Um, they could if they have Shohei back in the rotation and Kershaw, this team could be a seven-man rotation. Like forget six man. Like this is a seven starter. They're deep. They don't need all of them. With Blake Snell's been on rotation, he there's Blake Snell's is already like the pretty much the ace of the rotation. Without Shohei, right? So like he's pretty much uh, when I, when all the research I've been doing this last 2 weeks, a lot of people have Blake Snell as a top five uh, pitching. Like he's getting already a lot of votes for Cy Young Award, so that's pretty crazy. He's new, like, and we don't know that there's a different expectations where being with the Dodgers, right? They're with all the money they're spending, they expect World Series or nothing, right? So for him to they have already all the expectations, it's saying a lot, right? So but so anyways, they're deep. Freeman, he's a stud. Mookie Betts, we talked about him earlier. Like he can play any position. Kershaw's back on a 1 year contract, but he's still Kershaw. He might be the old man on the roster, but he still has a lot still on the tank. Um, with Tiki Hernandez and all the other players, they're just loaded. So for my
But
net,
but enough with the Dodgers. Let's go with our picks.
yeah, we know, right? We know. And so and what I will say, we'll see what if he pitches back. If the Dodgers pitches, if it's Show Hip actually pitches this season, they're not saying too much. It's a little bit of hush hush. Uh, I don't think he's ready. I think that's why they're having he didn't pitch in the Cactus League. I don't think he's completely healthy, but they also don't need him to pitch, right? So, but we'll see. So that's my National League predictions. In the Central, um, I'm going again with the Brewers. I think they're the best team in the Central. Um, they like last year. I picked them, even if they lost players. They already had players lined up, and I think those young stars are going to take another step, and I think they're going to be able to contend to win the Central again. Now this is where it gets a little juicy and interesting. We're going to the East Division. Now the East we have the Phillies, we have the Mets who spent a lot of money this offseason, and we have the Atlanta Braves. And the Atlanta Braves had a lot of injuries. They had everything went wrong for the Atlanta Braves last year, right? So we'll see how healthy they are. At this moment, between those three teams, I'm going with the Phillies. Why? Because they have the best pitching rotation in baseball. One of the best, I think, probably top three. They're deep. They are Harper, uh, who is just, I think, like Harper is. He might not get the attention like other stars, but he is the star of the game, and I think he's becoming more of a likable player. He had a bad rap. Like a lot of fans did not really respect him because like well, I think because he also came at the same time with Mike Trout, and Mike Trout was a student of the game, right? So, but I think he's becoming more of a fan. I think fans respect him now, and he's been able to carry teams. So I think the Phillies will take that division.
Tell that to Papelbon.
Yeah, exactly. But they're loaded, and I like it. So. And they have Suarez, probably arguably the best. third pitcher on the rotation on any staff, right? So like, I think we feature him in our players of the week couple times last season. So I just think they're a veteran team that they've been playing together, and I think I give them the notch right now um, over the other two teams. Uh, for my wild card positions, I think um, unfortunately there's going to be some teams out of this wild card. So like let's put it out there right now. Who's going to be contending for the wild card? We got the Padres, we got the Mets, the Braves, the D-backs, right? D-backs are are good. So you can literally lock those four teams, saying like those are the teams that are going to be competing for the three wildcard spots. And unfortunately, one of them is going to miss out on the postseason. And then we have the other teams in the bubble who may have an outside shot. We got the Reds. Can they make a leap? We got the Giants. We'll see how they do. And we got the darling of baseball, the Pirates. They're back, right? So we now the Reds have making improvements in the last 2 years. They're getting better, right? They're improving it by 5, 7 games, right? So they were outside last year. They were close. Can they make the other jump? Can they make a jump to over like maybe overthrow like the Padres or somewhere, right? So that's my opinion. So when we share our picks early in the week, if by yesterday and Friday I was thinking about it, like I wanted to change my picks, but I'm gonna stick to it. I'm not gonna change it on you. But I'm literally going with I'm going with the D-backs. I'm going with Atlanta, and I'm sticking to it. I did not want to, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm going with the Mets as the final spot for a wild card. I think the Mets they're not as when you compare them to other rosters. I don't think they're as good as people might think. They spend a lot of money on one player, but that doesn't mean that he can Soto can fix all the Mets issues, right? But they have enough star power in that lineup that they can contend for that third um, wild card spot. I think the Padres are out. I think this hurts with the latest injury on Darvis. It hurts them deeply because they need to start in a they need to start hot right away, right? Um, but yeah, I think the competing against the D-backs and Dodgers, I think it really hurts the Padres at this point. And I don't think they actually didn't get better over the offseason. They lost some key players. They lost them to free agency. So I think I don't see them making uh, the postseason this year. Uh, for my pennant, I got the D-backs over the Atlanta Braves.
Just quickly, Armando, who's your NL West?
Dodgers. um,
You went reverse on me on
yeah,
that one.
yeah, I started with the Dodgers. Get them out
Yeah.
of the way. We know who they are. So,
No surprises there. All right,
all right.
for your NL pennant, what is your pennant then?
For my pennant, I'm going with. Um, I have the D-backs going. I think they're going to be able to compete with the Diamondbacks, but I think over. Um, I think that Dodgers are just gonna sneak in there to win the division. That's not a bad thing. The Diamondbacks spend not they just that spend they sign quality players and last year signing they last year's in the free at mid-season trades they traded for a lot of bullpen, like let's not forget that. So they were preparing for following years, and I like their moves. They signed a Burns. um, So this is not a young team no more, right? So like they were a young team who made the World Series 2 years ago, but now they're they have a core there to compete for the next following years, and I think in the playoffs anything can happen. And I do think that um, the D-backs make the World Series. They go back to the World Series. I have Atlanta Braves in that against them. Why is that? I think they're gonna. They had so many injuries last year, but they're healthier this year coming into it. I think we're gonna see them back. I think they're gonna Atlanta Braves are gonna be a second half team that they're gonna when everybody's um, gets their foot wet, and get the rust off, like not having a like a um, not playing for a year, right? Murphy's out. He's gonna start in the IL. Um, but he will come back, and with all the star power that Atlanta has, I think they're going to be a second half team, and they're going to go on a deep run. And but I find D-backs a little bit better, and I'm big on Atlanta this year and the D-backs, but let's not forget the Atlanta arguably has the second roster behind the Dodgers, right? So let's not forget about the Atlanta Braves. I think they're gonna have a bounce back season this year. And for my National League MVP, I have Shohei as defending. I think he's gonna win it again. Um, he's just a unicorn, right? Um, yeah, and I just think, yeah. And for National League Cy Young Award, I have Zach Wheeler. Once again, I think he's probably the best pitcher. There's a lot of candidates for the National League, right? So you got Paul Skeens, who is everybody's like, if you're a fan of pitching, you love Paul Skeens, what he offers, right? Um, and my World Series prediction, I have the Diamondbacks over the Guardians in 6 games.
Great pick there, Armando.
Yes.
Pretty bold. Pablo Lopez,
Yeah.
welcome back.
We all have good takes. Every good sports commentator has good takes. uh,
All
and-
right, Armando, I'm not going reverse side with you. I'm going I'm going chronological here for my take. For NL East, this is a tough one, Armando, but I am taking the Phillies here as well. They have, like you said, an outstanding pitching rotation. They revamped their pen. They still have deep batting lineup, like you said, with Schwarber and Harper there. Everyone will be picking the Mets to win East because they landed Soto, but the Mets pitching will be tested early with the injuries.
yeah.
Uh, that's why I'm going with the Phillies for the NL East. For your NL Central, I was ready to pick the Cubs here, Armando, but the two Tokyo series had me pumping the brakes against the Cubs. Their starting rotation is good, but can this team score enough runs for them? That is why I am pivoting here and call me crazy, Armando. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Pirates
Mm.
here.
You're
Reigning
not
NL
crazy.
Rookie of the Year.
You're not crazy.
Reign, Reigning NL Rookie of the Year, Polsky is like you mentioned, leading this rotation. If this team can somehow find a way to put it all together on the field, I like their chances in this wide open NL Central. For your NL West, can any team, like I said earlier, beat the Dodgers? The answer may be no. It's not even a question, it is a challenge call to every team in the majors. We saw how deep this team is against the Cubs, like we mentioned earlier at the Tokyo series. Their lineup can withstand losses of Mookie and Freeman. Their starting rotation is deeper than the Pacific Ocean. And do we even talk about their bullpen? Even if a team can find a hole in this lineup and exploit it, feel free to share it with everyone. Even then, I'm still picking the Dodgers. Even then, I'm still picking the Dodgers to win this NL West, Armando.
Mhm.
For your wild cards, I have the Mets, Braves, and the Diamondbacks. Mets have a potent lineup. Hopefully, they can weather the storm of those injuries from their pitching staff. And the Braves, you mentioned, made the playoffs last year even after losing Acuna and Strider. D-backs had the best offense last year, Armando. They added first baseman Naylor and added Corbin Burns to form a 1-2 punch with Zach Gallen. This team is deeper than last year, so I'm picking those three teams in this NL wild cards. For the NL pennant, Armando, give me the Dodgers over the Padres. Oh no, give me.
That was last year's
I didn't.
prediction.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even pick the Padres to win anything. Sorry about that. Give me the Dodgers over the Phillies. Outside of multiple season-ending injuries to their star players, I do not see any team taking down the Dodgers this year. I hate to say it, but it's true, Armando. For my NL MVP, surprise, surprise. Why would anyone not pick Shohei Ohtani? Shohei put up 50 plus home runs, 50 stolen bases last season as a full-time DH. If he pitches this year, it will only add to his check mark on being an MVP. If Otani pitches, we will see a dip on his batting stats here, Armando. That's given. But I can still see Otani hitting 35 to 40 home runs this year if he pitches. If he's a full-time DH, we can see similar numbers from last year. That's why I'm picking Shohei Otani to win the NL MVP twice in a row. For my sayang, again, we're cursing all the sayang from last year. But here we are again, Armando. For my NL sayang, I'm going with Corbin Burns. Sorry, Armando, and sorry, Bay Area. But Burns come in to the Diamondbacks who can give him enough run support. I can see Burns winning between 16 to 18 games this year because of that. NL West will be tough to navigate, but Burns can find a way to get this thing done. That's why I'm picking NL. That's why I'm picking Corbin Burns to win the NL Cy Young this year.
No, he's there's a lot of expectations on him, and I think he's gonna deliver.
And for your World Series here, Armando, I am taking the Dodgers over the Yankees. Sorry, Yanks fans. Dodgers will take you down again this year, minus the Judge drop ball. It will be it'll be a closer match this time around, but it will be Dodgers in six. Mark this down. Call me crazy, but I'm putting money on the line right now.
All right, so you got the Dodgers and sets over the Yanks. Okay, I don't think you're crazy over the Central. I think there's gonna be a team in the Central that makes a run. I I actually wanted to pick the Reds to make to I wanted to switch the Mets with the Reds. I think one of the Pirates or the Reds are gonna make they're gonna make a jump. And I think I can do see another team out in the Central. I think the Brewers has been dominating that division, but there's been a lot of teams on rebuilds, and I think the Padres and the Reds are finally there to be there. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Reds make the uh, be is one of those wild card teams, in my opinion. So
Yeah, any team can surprise in the NL West anyway. Any given year,
yeah,
and especially with the Reds up and coming lineup, I won't be surprised, like you said, if they can make the playoffs.
yeah, and so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. The Pirates has also been another team that they've been improving for the last 3 years. You know, making those strides, and I think if they can, like you said, if they can put it together somehow, I think they're going to be able to compete. And that's why I say like one of those bubble teams outside those four teams um, that you can pencil them for wild cards. I think they could be, but I think the Padres and the Mets, there's still a lot of questions that they have on their rotation, starting rotation and their bullpen. So I don't think I think they're going to be scoring a lot of games, I mean a lot of runs, and there's going to be a high scoring games in order for the Padres and Mets to compete. And I'm not being here a Dodger hater here. I'm just not really big on them like I was last year, due to because we don't know what is Shohei going to be doing. I think like you said, like you mentioned there, like if he's pitching, he's gonna be hitting maybe like 35, 40 home runs. I think that I agree with you. I think the same thing. Last year he was the first player ever to hit for 50-50, right? 50 home runs, 50 steals. But he was gas. He was trying to get to the 60-60 mark. Let's not forget he was gas at the end of the season because he was trying to be great, and and that's great because you can see that like he was actually trying to achieve things that no other player has achieved. But he was gas, and the Dodgers had a week off before their first the postseason, right? So he rested in that week, right? If he pitches this season, even in the bullpen, I think he's gonna be gassed out. So I can see that. I think he should just concentrate on hitting, in my opinion. Uh, be a full-time DH and concentrate on just on hitting and batting. First of all, for the Dodgers, Shohei, he is Shohei, Shohei pitching. It's a luxury for the Dodgers. They don't need him, right? They have you mentioned their bullpen closing out the Cubs on the Tokyo series. It's a luxury to have Shohei pitching. It's not a necessity. But what the Dodgers need, it is a necessity for to be a batter for the Dodgers, and I think he should just concentrate that. So that's my thing. Um, but if he pitches, I can see him just gassing out, and yeah, and I think there's going to be other teams like the Padres who are going to be able to take advantage of that um, out of tiredness team, right? So that's just the way I see it. So.
Yeah, I sure hope the Dodgers management hold Shohei back because he's been itching to pitch,
Right.
right? That's why the Halos were able to sign Shohei because he wanted to pitch, right?
Right.
He wanted that dual threat. So if he wanted to pitch this year, I hope the Dodgers hold him back because they need him healthy, like you said. They need him
Exactly.
healthy. If he comes down with an injury, I don't think the Dodgers can make the World Series without him.
Exactly. So I just think that's why I'm not as big. If he pitches, I don't think they make it, right? So um yeah, if he pitches and he has like a Tommy John surgery, like now he's not even batting, right? So I just think, like I said, it's a luxury to have him pitching. Um they don't need him, but I think if he does want to pitch, you just bring him in situation games, right? Like when the bullpen is maxed out or the closer needs a rest, bring in show him. Just right, like it's come situation baseball. Just I think that's where I would just let him pitch. If I was, if the Dodgers should just let him pitch in situation baseball, and that's it. Like but uh, but that's my opinion as a baseball fan. So
Or don't play him, right?
no,
it'll be
no,
it'll be good for the Giants, right?
no.
Just bench him.
You can on paper, yes, but like there's always when you step in the diamond, everybody has a chance, right? So anything can happen. So yeah,
Few more days. Few more days.
3 more days. All right. Well, that is it for our predictions, season predictions. Once again, if you want to listen to our American League predictions, please go to last week's episode. Now let's get into our Dodgers and I mean Dodgers, not a Dodger podcast. Once again,
You're becoming a Dodger Blue now.
thinking too much about them. So um, enough talk about the Dodgers. Let's get into the Giants and Blue Jays updates.
Giants, Blue Jays.
Well, for the Giants update this week, we had a little scare at the beginning of the week where Young Ho Lee It just said like he's scheduled for MR. I was like, what is going on? Like no one had any news. Like I was refreshing my phone, checking into the Giants website or the or Barrier Sports, like what's going on. It's like nobody was saying like he was just like he rested 3 games, and like I said last week, we need a healthy Lee in order for this Giants lineup to work because everything is based around him. Everything is based around defense for the Giants, right? So finds out like he just had a back injury, so he missed 3 games. He's not scheduled to hit the IL or he's going to be in the opening day roster, so that's good. But like it was a little scare. But it's a back injury, right? So it's kind of like it can linger all year. So it's not the best thing, but at least it's not season-ending injury. So I talked about this last week. I feel like I was jinxing him like this week because we talked about he has a history of injuries back when he was in Korea and his rookie year he had a season-ending injury, shoulder injury. So we need a lead to be healthy in order for this team to work, right? So, but good news, the MRI came negative, so that's really good. So now there's no other updates. They actually flew last night after the last game of the Cactus Lake. They flew back to the Bay Area, so they're home. They're going to be this week. They're going to be playing their final exhibition against the Sacramento A's. No, not Sacramento A's. They're against the AAA Giants, uh, River Cats. So that's really great. So in Sacramento, so it's going to be great. So baseball's here, right? So now pretty much the lineup is set. Yeah, so there's Bob Melvin posted. They said there's going to be a competition for the fifth spot on the rotation. Everybody thought that Harrison was going to be just the automatic in, but finds out last night he's actually been optioned to AAA. He, yeah, so there was talks about him going to the bullpen. He just lost when you start your career, like for a young pitcher to go 97 all of a sudden to 92, it's not good, right? So he can't be on the bullpen. He cannot be on the roster not playing, right? So I think it's a good decision to have him in the AAA with the River Cats and just have him work on his mechanics, on his location because he also struggles with walks, right? So I think it's a good thing, but he's the man out, and now the battle for the last fifth man rotation it's between Birdsong, last year's rookie, and Rope. You sent me a screenshot of his Cactus League a couple weeks ago. You know he's been lights out, so he's been good. Um, But he's been a pitcher in the AAA for the last couple of seasons for the Giants, so he's impressed a lot. Um, I talked about him with Blake Snell's injury. He was the pitcher they called up for to fill in his starts, right? So those two are battling for the last spot. They're going to be pitching uh, in the against the Sacramento River Cats this week. Both of them are going to be pitching, and both of them have a chance to make the team. Maybe one of them will go to the bullpen, but at this point, uh, it's between those two, and I'm excited. I think I will go with Birdsong because last year he was a rookie. He pitched already pretty much like 2/3 of the season. He, he's uh, he's used to it, right? For pitching, he's seen the major league batter, so I will give it to him. But I've been impressed by Rope and how he has pitched this spring training. So that's it for the Giants updates. I think everybody's just they're excited. I think Giants fans are excited. They had a really good record. I know you don't want to put too much stock into the spring training records, but he was the Giants have been impressive. They had a winning record Um, so like I think a lot of this week, a lot of the media are saying like don't put too much stock into the records or the statistics of the spring, on the spring, right? But it's compared to the last two seasons, it's hard not to get excited. So, but baseball's back. I'm trying to get not my hopes up, but I will last next week. I will I will talk about more of my predictions on the Giants season. I will talk about that next week, um, but it's exciting. Baseball's back. Giants baseball is back.
That Dodgers baseball.
No, not
So, Dodgers blue is
yeah.
living rent free on Armando's head right now.
Nice.
Well, that's a bit of a concern with Young Holy. Like you said, it's a back injury, and good thing that the MRI said results are negative. But like you said, it might linger around the season. But you need Young Holy to be healthier this season so he can help your lineup rate. So
Hmm.
hopefully he comes back earlier and healthier, and hopefully the Giants keep winning. Besides the Cactus League, are you winning the Cactus League right now?
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's great then. Yeah, like you said, don't put too much on the standings, the stats, but you get excited when you see your team winning even in the spring training.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
For the first few innings anyway, you see pretty much a best the lineup that you'll face in the majors. So you can't say that oh yeah they're just pitching against the minors. So you don't put too much on it, but you still get excited about
Yeah.
spring training, right? So for your Blue Jays update this week, Armando, and all the Blue Jays fans out there, Blue Jays president and CEO Mark Shapiro said that they will extend Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Not might, not we are hopeful. He said they will extend him, and they have commonality on the end result. But with only few days before opening day, is an extension really possible? Myself, I don't see it happening. It will be great, but it's a tight window here, Armando. Gives all Jays fans hopes, but let's just calm down and enjoy the season. Hopefully, they can get it done. If they can get it done before opening day, that's great. If they get it done mid-season, that's okay too. But let's just start the season right now. Last week, I said it was a thumbs up for Mad Max.
Yeah.
This week, this week it is thumbs down for Mad Max. The good news is that there is no structural damage
Oh, that's good.
on his throwing arm stump, but Scherzer mentioned this is an ongoing concern for him since 2023. So how in the world did the Blue Jays medical staff miss this before signing Scherzer? Reports are saying that this is a pain tolerance thing and it flares up around 50 pitches. I say put for myself, I say put Scherzer in the pen and let it rip for 2 innings, but that's not why the Jays signed him, right? So what will be the Blue Jays option with him? Put Max for 4 innings and get multiple long relief pitcher. You will tax your pen early on this season, and come mid season, you have dead arms in the pen, right? So
Right.
not looking good, but we saw Mad Max yesterday through a spring training game against the Twins, and he looked great. 4 innings, no earned runs, 2 hits, and 4 Ks. There are reports earlier today that his thumb responded well after the game, so we can breathe for now and half a thumb.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I saw that game last yesterday. I was like, well, he looks good. So he looked dominant. So that's good. It's good signs to see.
yeah, the only problem is not a problem. The only concern is after the pitching game, will they have to see how he recovers the
Right.
following day.
Okay.
So, and he responded well, so that's good news. He'll start the season in the rotation. For your lineup, Barger, Davis, Roden, Straw, who will make this roster? From Shai Davidi today, it's Miles Straw, Nathan Luke, Alan Roden, and David Snyder. No Barger here, Armando. I wanted Barger's left lefty bat out there. But knowing the Jays, they want the defensive mindset from Straw, especially when Varsho is starting on the IL to rehab his shoulder. I didn't like the idea of starting Varsho in the IL. I wanted his lefty bat out there, even DHing, but I can see the Blue Jays holding him back because if it's a real time game, even if you're batting, you hit a base hit, you wanted to steal, you slide awkward on those base paths, your shoulder might get jammed, and they're being cautious with Varsho. They need his defense out there in center field. I didn't like it, but I'm not the Blue Jays owners and management anyway, so yeah, I wanted his lefty bat because he was smashing in the spring training,
Right.
right? So why not put him as DH, right? But they'll let him rehab in the minors for a few weeks, I think. Maybe he'll come up after 10 days. Regarding your saying about your Cactus League, Blue Jays won the Golden Grapefruit. It's a real thing, Blue Jays fans. We won something this year. It's our World Series. Plan the parade.
Wow.
So yeah, it's good news for Blue Jays and Blue Jays and Giants. They're winning the spring league
Yeah,
right now.
come on, let's go. That's good, man. Yeah, well, that's yeah, it's exciting. So,
Yeah, well, we did pick the Giants and the Blue Jays this year, which is well, we're probably good mojo right now, right?
well, I'll pick Nets. I'll share my predictions. Yeah, that's a good point. But I do think I I'll share my thoughts how I feel about the Giants this season. So,
Yeah, we'll see the first two games.
yeah,
and, and let it rip.
yeah, let it rip. Yeah,
I,
so
I know I know for a fact the Blue Jays starting month will be horrible. So if they come up with a winning record come after March and April, I'll be happy
I was
because it's a bit.
I was listening to Major League. No, I was watching the Major League channel this week, early in the week, and there I just had it in the background, and I just hear like if the Dodgers want to win the division, they need both to step up. And I was like, Blue Jays win the division. It's like, what is this guy talking about? So,
It might be a clickbait,
yeah, exactly. So I was like, he's not really seriously thinking, right, that he can compete with the Yankees and and Red Sox, and so not to win the division. I'm saying, and so
Yeah, they all the leagues right now, especially the AL, it's wide open anyway. So any team can surprise. Who knows? But let's not talk Blue Jays into the playoffs right now.
yeah,
Let's not give anyone hope.
and so I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying that they won't make the playoffs or they won't be competing for a wild card spot. But to win, to overthrow the Yankees, and with all the moves the Red Sox made, it's like it's a little tough stretch. Well, that is it for this week. Until next time,
See, we'll see you next week.
next week.